You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Hey, man. We going to beat Bama?
I don't know. I'm much more excited about our chances now than I would have been 2 weeks ago. Honestly, everything in my life at LSU now is about my fraternity group chat.
Okay.
There's a guy in my fraternity group chat. I don't even know. Like, I love him. I don't know if I like him. Right? Like, we don't think alike on anything. He really, really did not like Jayden Daniels early.
Okay.
And I love Jayden Daniels. One, because he's like, one of my son's best friends. But I actually think he's really talented. And he just was like hating on him constantly. And I was like, hey, man, give him a chance. Like, he's a really, really talented individual. And so, like, I'm glad to see that he's playing well. I think the hardest part about playing Alabama is I believe their quarterback is so, so good.
I know.
Like, I think if he's, because he's 5'10", he's a little joker. He's not very big, 5'11" at the most. If he's 6'2", I think he's the highest rated, like highest evaluated quarterback in the last 20 years.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young, without question, and this counts every NFL quarterback I've studied this year.
Okay.
I believe he's the most poised quarterback living.
Really?
Without question. You can't rattle him. He's a guy who can run and who can move, and you can't force him into it. He only does it when he wants to. When he does do it, it's to go out and win. Jamar is out 4 to 6 weeks, by the way. That really, really sucks for Cincinnati. And I think he's just difficult to beat. We can score points on him. It's about finding the right matchups, using Kayshawn in the right way, obviously Malik outside, and, just having opportunities to find the matchups. A lot of people have attacked Alabama inside the slot this year, and that's with finding ways to get the safety to roll down and be one-on-one. If we can get that matchup with 7, I think that's something we can exploit because we've used him mostly in the slot. Outside receivers are playing well. Run game picking up a little bit because now we've decided to use Jayden in that, a lot. And so I think we have a chance, man. I'm not excited about our chances, but I think we have a chance, in which I didn't necessarily believe early on in the year.
Why do you think it's that Jayden the last 2 weeks has looked like the guy that we talked about from his freshman year at Arizona State?
I'm not sure. I don't get to go to practice. I don't. I do believe, if you look back, just think about 2 of the touchdown catches in the last 2 games. One in the left corner against Florida. We take the football off a guy's head. Mm-hmm. We catch one. Yeah. We catch one the opposite side. I think it was Jenkins last week. That he was wide open. The throw was actually underthrown. Comes back in between 2 guys and makes that play. Think back to early on in the season, how many times we could say, you know what, an LSU receiver just went up and made a play.
Yeah.
Right? An LSU receiver was just better than the other guy. And so I think that those things are important. I also think that when you call the quarterback runs and they're not just necessarily like part of second play opportunities for a guy who's athletic like him, it gets him into the game, right? Like some quarterbacks just like the warm-up throw, you know what I mean? The hitch or the quick out, the slant. I think for him, it's just getting the juices going and feeling like part of the team. Like he's a football player, not just necessarily a quarterback. And I think, you go back to, and no, guys, I'm not comparing him to these humans and what they accomplished in college, okay? But think Tim Tebow, right? Cam Newton, guys like that, Marcus Mariota, like that were dual threat that way. There were calls made to get them in the flow of the football game, not just the passing game. And I think that's something that LSU has done a really good job of the last 2 weeks.
Can LSU's defense slow down? How much can LSU's defense
I think they can. I think they can, and here's why.
35 points?
Yeah. I don't think
25 points?
I don't think their receivers are great.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, like I don't think Alabama's receivers are great. Like if their receivers were great, they score 80 points a game because their quarterback's great.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think we can match up on the outside. I think they drop footballs. No, I think what's his name? Gibbs, the running back.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Super duper fast.
Yeah.
Like changes the game type of fast. So our gap integrity, our tackling will be important in the run game. But I believe this year, more than any year, we match up very well with them outside and in the secondary just because I don't think that their players are that good.
Ryan Clark's here with us. He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. But you know that. Good enough to join us every Thursday here on AFR in studio for a couple of segments. Next week, I think we can go deeper dive into the game maybe.
Sure.
But one other big question, like a big picture question, I should say, through up into this point in the season, if I told you LSU 6-2, 4-1 in the league, lose to Florida, I think we would all take it, right? But would you be surprised that they are where they are?
No, because being that I hate LSU, I look at them with a very critical eye, right? Because you know me, hate LSU.
The funny thing is, RC, when people say that, like, and I mean, I know you, right? Like, and I get that everybody doesn't know you. Like, they see you, they know who you are. But like, you've told me so many times that you love LSU because you picked LSU.
I think that's why.
Like, no,
it's the only team in the world I've ever gotten to pick.
I mean, like the thing with you and Swagoo on SEC Nation last week, like you looked so. It was like
I freaking love the school,
dude.
Bro.
It was
like I love it.
It was like, but dude, you were like, it was like this, like it's how I imagine these like primal hunters. Like that's why RC was a lunatic on the field. Like that's the guy that would just
love it,
throw his body at people.
But I think the thing that people miss is like you can love something and still be honest about it. Right?
Yeah, I've made a living doing that.
Yeah, and I think, and true, like, and I think people miss this. I'm not an LSU fan. Right? I'm not an LSU fan. Like, I'm really an LSU Tiger. To me, there's a difference in that. Right? Like, there are all these people that love LSU, right? And I'll be like, hey, man, what school did you go to? And they're like walking around like the airport in LSU polo. I'm like, oh, man, you went to LSU? No, I went to Nichols. Well,
that's okay.
Guys, I'm not saying that it's not that you can't be an LSU fan. Okay, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is, though,
you know what you're going to get, though.
What I'm trying to tell them is, though, I'm different than you.
Yeah.
And I think people miss that, right? Like for me, it's not just about the colors, like it's about the people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I can put myself in the shoes of that starting free safety. I can put myself in the shoes of that student athlete. Like I've been there and I understand what it feels like to be supported or not be supported or deal with different things. And so my care and my focus is a deeper focus. Like I want them to win games more so for them, right? Like LSU winning the national championship. Yes, I'm gonna smoke cigars and have a good time, but that is for them. Like I didn't do what Jamar Chase did or what Joe did. Like I can't share that, but I can be happy for him. Mm-hmm. And so the thing people have an issue with me is it's like if I feel something, like I say it. And so, like everybody's like, oh, like I always get like the Billy Napier thing. Like, oh, look how much better Brian Kelly's doing than Billy Napier. And you wanted Billy Napier. Right? Well, the thing was this, right? But I also said on TV, on First Take, the day Brian Kelly was hired, I was like, yes, Brian Kelly is going to win here. I was like, Brian Kelly is probably going to win a national championship at LSU. I said, because he can really coach football, right? And he really can. And the last two dudes that were here, right, they won championships, and they ain't him. Matter of fact, one of them was so terrible when he was here, they fired him from his new job. Right? Think about that. Like, how awful of an organization / university do you have to run that when the news come out about how bad it was there, your new job has to fire you?
You gotta go.
Is like that's like Kanye level incompetence, right? And so he won a national championship and could have maybe won another one,
I know.
right? And then then Ed Ogeron, God bless his soul, right? He won a champion. He coached the greatest college football team in the history of football.
I know.
And I love him. I can't say that there's ever been a time where I was like, this man is a football genius.
No.
And he won a national championship. So Brian Kelly is going to win the national championship here, guy. Brian Kelly can freaking coach football. You know how I know? Because everywhere Brian Kelly goes, they win football games. And guess what's going to happen to LSU? He's going to have the best football players he has ever coached in his life.
That's true.
And they're going to win a national championship. So I don't have any issue with Brian Kelly or what he's doing because I expected this from him. And I also, unlike the rest of the people here, had a ton of faith in number 5. Like, I have watched him do things naturally, not surrounded by the talent he'd have at LSU, that I was like, oh, he got something different. And so it's so cool to see that happening now. And I mean, I think we all thought, that kind of like 9 games was the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. Like if we got 9, like that was the year. And honestly, you go back from Florida State, like this could be a 10-win team, if you win that game. And so they still got some hard games to play. But I think if this team wins 9 games, man, you have to consider this season with having to use the transfer portal the way they had. This season has been a huge success.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.